Senator Menendez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for your testimony and your service. At our hearing last November, I expressed concerns about the Military Lending Act, which caps interest rates for consumer credit to military borrowers at 36%, but doesn't cover all loans. And in addition, a lot of lenders have created workarounds to circumvent the rules and market predatory loans to service members. So, Colonel, in the National Defense Authorization Act, there were some provisions to strengthen the Military Lending Act, which we hope close loopholes and clarify definitions of prohibited practices. Have you had a chance to review that, and do you believe that language, if you have, do you believe that language helps us achieve the goals that we were seeking to?
We are in the process of reviewing all of the legislation, sir, and that is an issue, as I indicated earlier, that we're going to take a very, very close look at. It was focused upon by the Consumer Federation of America. It is something that Mrs. Petraeus brings back from her visits to installation, something that we've heard from state enforcement officers about as well. And we will look at those very, very closely, sir, and we appreciate it very much.
Well, I would hope that in your review and analysis, if you would tell us, and Ms. Petraeus, you would tell us whether or not our goals are accomplished by that language, or whether there are still shortcomings that we should pursue.
We will do just that, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Petraeus, have you had an opportunity to review that language as well? Have you had that chance yet?
Not in enough detail that I want to address it specifically, but I did want to note that our agency has signed a joint statement of principles with the Department of Defense specifically on the subject of small dollar lending. So we hope to share information back and forth, including what we hear from the field and also what they hear, so we can work together to address this.
Well, back in November when I pursued this with you, you said you supported broader protections, but the devil's in the details. So I'm looking to see what you find in the devils, in the details. Okay. I also was concerned about the Service Members Civil Relief Act not being properly understood or enforced, resulting in illegal foreclosures. And we held a hearing on that issue as the subcommittee on housing. General Biden, I'm very interested in ensuring that the not-so-independent foreclosure review process, as I call it, is fair, comprehensive, and accountable. As one component of that process required by the bank regulators due to banks harming military members, independent consultants hired by the mortgage servicers are going to conduct a file review of foreclosure cases involving borrowers subject to the Act, and compensation is supposed to be provided to service members who suffered financial harm due to the violations. I'm encouraged by the decision to review all of the files that are subject to the Civil Relief Act, but I remain concerned that firms hired by the mortgage servicers may not be truly independent at the end of the day. Have you had a chance to look at this, and can you discuss your level of confidence that service members who suffered under the Act's violations of the Act will be consistently and fairly compensated?
I share your concerns. I think they're well placed, and I am hopeful with the pressure brought to the servicers by you in this committee, as well as the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, as well as the Attorneys General, will hold their feet to the fire. I don't, as I sit here this morning, have any indication that they're not doing what the settlement requires them to do, but I also didn't think that they would have to be called before your committee and be told to enforce a law that's been around since the Civil War. So I'm hopeful that they will comply with both the settlement and the SCRA, which I believe that they are well aware of, but apparently they were not.
And that brings me to my final question. Can you discuss the differences between the provisions in the National Mortgage Settlement and foreclosure reviews and the impact on service members and their families. Are these reviews sufficiently coordinated, do you think?
I believe they are. That's a question I'd have to take back and get back to you on with Tom Miller, who led the state investigation, as well as the Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Civil Rights Division. I believe there's coordination. In fact, I'm confident there is. I can get back to you on the level of that coordination. As you know, the resolution as it relates to the SCRA violations, pieces of that are on top of the settlement. And so I believe there is coordination that's adequate.
Well, we appreciate your vigilance and look forward to your input. Thank you all.